Check, check. Welcome to Market Psychology 101, where we look for value in the markets when there's fear and are cautious when there's greed. Just making sure the audio is working.
Check, check.
All right, sounds good. So, we've had some movement in the crypto market today, to say the least. For any of you who have not been watching the charts, big move for Bitcoin. We are going to get into that. Let's first start off with fear and greed. We'll go to CNN. As you can see, for the stock market, why would we not be back down into fear? So we are going to look for opportunities. And on pie vesting, would you believe this? And I know they measure things differently, but I would assume that even on pie vesting next week, it'll be getting down towards that neutral territory pretty quickly. But crypto, fear and greed, it is showing us that we are in extreme fear. As you can see, we were at 29 just yesterday, and now we've gone down into extreme fear. I'm still waiting for a lower low to be made. And I know this doesn't always correlate to price action. Sometimes it's a leading indicator, but I'm still waiting for lower lows to be made. And I am wondering if Bitcoin will hold up here at the lower end of this channel as it did before, and on the 50-week moving average. That's that orange line. So we have the light blue, that's the 100-week moving average, EMA, and the dark blue line, that's the 200. Do not want to see it go under that. That would change my opinion on a lot of things with this current crypto cycle if that were to happen. But that is a long ways away. We're still above 50,000. Bitcoin did get down to 52. Let's zoom way in. Let's zoom way in and see where we are at today as far as how low it got. So Bitcoin today got as low as 52,575. And yeah, here when you zoom in on the lowest time frame, the 1 minute time frame. And again, guys, as far as crypto goes, I look at crypto as more of a trade investor. I'm not looking to trade, get in and out each and every week, but sometimes it is helpful to look on the smaller time frames just to see, is there any strength showing as far as a rebound? Not seeing any of that so far. Lost the channel. And as far as going under the channel, well, you guys saw it was on the 50-week moving average. If we go out to the weekly. And something else to note, at least this is what usually happens, I have on the Heikin-Ashi candles. And the reason I have it on the Heikin-Ashi candles is if we throw on regular candles, you can see there's a lot of noise. And the Heikin-Ashi candles is good at showing us trends. Something to play around with if you haven't before. I have a buddy that likes the Renko candles. Not for me. I'm more of a Heikin-Ashi person. But because it shows trends in crypto, we only have one candle so far. And I would expect another red one. Now, will it be a higher low? Like after there was the last two sell-offs? Well, actually the last three. The last three times it's come down to the lower end of this channel. The next week we made a higher low. Is that what's going to happen? Or, because we are so close to Sunday and Monday when we print the next candle, could we possibly go lower? If we do, the two key areas I'm watching for are the 786 macro fib level at 50K. And if you're wondering how I got that macro fib, I use this Fibonacci retracement tool, draw from the high to the low. 786 is right there. It's at 50K. Now, if we zoom in on the daily, you can see there is some price structure there too. So, not a lot though, not as much as back here. at around, I guess you could say, between 42 and 46K. That's the other area I'm looking for. We have all that price action back here, and there's the 100-week moving average. I'm going to keep saying this until it doesn't happen. I think, being that we had a mid-cycle top, at least that's what it's looking like on the fear and greed index and some other indicators as well, that because we had this mid-cycle top, I would not be shocked to see it come down to the 100-week moving average. Now, every cycle is different by as far as how the price action moves. In 2019, when Bitcoin had that mid-cycle top, you can see it tested the 50, and when it broke under, was able to hold the 100. Now, it did get down to even the lower fib. You can see it only candle wick-wise, but it was able to hold at that 7K level, even got as low as the mid 6,000s. And I'm willing to wager that without COVID and that COVID crash, that Bitcoin wouldn't have gone down all the way to the 200-week moving average and these big spikes down here as low as 4K. Can you imagine if something similar like that happened? Now, the yield curve was inverted before this time. And so people were saying, COVID or not, it would have been, there still would have been somewhat of a correction because of factors in the market, and that COVID created the conditions to quickly price in this sell-off that the markets were going to happen anyways. So maybe the 200 would have gotten hit. And what if we do see something like this again? But in my belief, this is my opinion, and I could be wrong, that without COVID, even with, I don't think there would have been as deep of a correction. There was that V-shaped recovery. We can just go to the S&P 500. We had this V recovery here. That without this big COVID sell-off, maybe the S&P would have only gone down to the 100 or 200. Well, let's go back to Bitcoin. This is what happened post mid-cycle top in 2019. And so I'm watching for the 100-week moving average. And to me, anything around the 100 or lower is nice, deep value. I have been in crypto in the last two cycles, 2017, 2021. If we're at that deep of value, I know it sucks, but I'm going to be looking to get in more. But I'm not just going to buy falling knives. I'm going to get into more of how I look at price entries today. Can't just blindly DCA. Well, maybe you can. You could get lucky, but you want to have a plan and good indicators. Mick Zashan, thank you for the comment. Hope you're doing well. Do you see us falling to the 42, 44K level? So 42, okay, I see where you're getting that. So 42 to 44K. I was just talking about this with where the 100-week moving average is. I'll say this. It depends. I never want to make predictions and say, yes, Bitcoin is for sure falling there. However, I'm seeing a lot of weakness increasing over time. You see how Bitcoin has continued to test the lower end of this channel? It just seems like it's losing strength and getting ready to fall off. This is the area I'm watching for. Now, I'm more watching for, we're splitting hairs here. I'm watching for this 100-week moving average, but of course we could see a wick. And like I was showing with 2019, maybe we see a wick to the 618 as low as 39K. Can you imagine? That was ETF time. This is when the Bitcoin ETF got approved. There was that 20% sell-off, and then it went up into the mid-cycle top in March. So this would all have to break down. Now, as I was saying, with the red Heikin-Ashi candles, I am expecting another weekly red. Usually these come in waves of at least two, but sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes there is only one red candle, even though Heikinashis can cut out the noise. Sometimes there's only one, but this is a big candle that we're getting here, and I would assume we get at least another red weekly candle. So we'll see if the lower end of this channel holds. You can see there the 50-week moving average. We're at 54 basically. That's got to hold. Then it's 50, and I don't think 50 may or may not hold. It was able to last time when there's that 30% correction, but if not, then yes, I would lean that way. As well as can be in this market. If Bitcoin goes to 45K range, what happens to the miners? 30 to 40% correction. Great question, great comment. I would agree with you. I'd say with the Bitcoin miners, we will see even more of a correction. Let's go to something like Riot. I was looking at Riot earlier, and it got under this trend line and is hanging on this 236 fib. So let me just bounce back and forth here. Okay, you can see when there's this 30% correction, week of August 24th. Okay, we're just remembering that week. And let's take a look at what the miners did when there's that big correction. I would expect something similar. June, July, August 24th. Okay, right here. So let's say, yeah, 30% correction, man, you hit that on the money. I'm sure if we measured higher, 30 to 40%. So where might that leave some of the miners? Now, some of that correction could already be happening because we may already be over halfway there. You can see with this candle on the weekly. So if it had another 10% drawdown or so, that lines up with some price action back here. I would not be shocked at all to see that, Amik. I think that is a very fair assessment. So let's take a look at some of the other ones. But keep in mind, some of the corrections already holding, and as you can see, some of these miners, this is Marathon, they're holding on by a thread. Riot on its 236 fib, Mara on this trend line, which doesn't have to hold. But right now, Mara, I mean, this is 25% down this last week. I would not be shocked at all to see Mara get down to this $11 range. So I think those are good levels to look for. Is there price action support where you can draw a trend line? Are there fibs? Are there moving averages? If there are, and you are a dip buyer, I'll tell you this, sometimes I'm a dip buyer in this way, but most of the time when I am, I will end up seeing prices go lower than the dip mark I set. Sometimes I get lucky and I catch the price and I'm like, yeah, I feel great. I caught the very bottom of a wick. More often than not, when I try to be cute and be a dip buyer as part of my dollar cost average budget, I will see it go even lower. And I'll say, damn, should I have just waited for some price action or confirmation on any indicators to at least show we're headed in the right direction, because it keeps going lower. So do know you run a risk there. Let's take a look at some other ones. Cypher, Clean Spark. Cypher is one I like a lot. I thought its chart was holding up better, and and yeah. So Meek with the good analysis, talking about 30 to 40%. I mean, that fits right in here. Cypher, if you want to be a dip buyer, I mean, I might do this. I might set a buy order at 242, 245, somewhere in there, because I'm strongly leaning that the price will get there. If you have any money in your budget, and obviously do not spend or invest more than you can afford to lose. I have a monthly budget. Nothing I say is financial advice. But if it's still within your budget and you're like, hey, I see this fib here and this looks like a good entry price. I love Cypher. I've been buying Cypher. I'm going to try to scoop up some value. You can set a buy order for this 0.5 fib right here. And again, do know that you run the risk of things going lower. So I wait for buy signals. If things get very bearish, this is the buy sell signal I use, at least when we are still bullish. But when I believe the market's bearish, I'm more cautious and I use this buy sell signal indicator, UT bot alerts. Because I've made this analogy before. I'm looking at my investment as a profit sandwich. I don't need to buy the very bottom. As you can see here, when Cypher went all the way down to 40 cents, it got all the way back up to 68 to as high as $1.32 when it had that buy signal. And you could have been buying anywhere in there and then still enjoying profits today. But I don't need to bite the whole profit sandwich. I don't need to eat the whole thing. When it flashes a sell signal that you're happy with, if you're wanting to take profits, you're not going to take 100% of the possible profits, but maybe you're taking 60 to 80% of what's in the middle of that sandwich. So that's what I like to do. I feel like that helps factor in some of the risks. CleanSpark feels extremely undervalued, but then again, feel like it might fall to $7. Yeah, let's go over to CleanSpark. Some of these, I was talking about Bitcoin miners this week on how I'm thinking, last cycle, the top miners were between 20 to 30 billion in market cap. I think this time around, the range I'm looking for is 40 to 50 billion. So 40 to 50 billion is what I'm looking for. CleanSpark, $7. Okay. Yeah, we have this trend line that we've been making higher lows on. Right now, it hit that 0.5 fib perfectly. Man, just shot down through all that support, the 200, the 100, came right down. We'll see if the 0.5 holds, but if not, that $7, I could see it. The 382 is here at $6. And do know that some of many of the smaller altcoins or miners, they can correct even more. Amik, and I hope I'm saying your name correctly, apologize if not, said 30 to 40%. Smaller market caps, do not be surprised to see a 50%. Oh, look at that. 50% right down to the 382 if it were to continue to correct. So you could set a couple buy orders. If you like $7 because of this price action back here or something, heck, set a buy order for $7. And if it goes lower to $6, maybe you leave some money to the side to get in some more. So yeah, that would not shock me. Speaking of, because miners act so much like altcoins, let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance. And let's take off this buy-sell signal indicator, at least for the moment. So Bitcoin dominance, I have these two trend lines drawn out. One from the peak of where it was early on in the 2017 cycle, hit that top in December 2020. This one, Bitcoin was making a new all-time high, breaking the 20K level. And then I have this trend line going horizontal, which got to the dip of dominance back in September 2020. And it's just funny to me how dominance has hit these lines where they converge. I mean, I've had those trend lines drawn for a while. And again, I don't care about being right or wrong about anything. Being right or wrong doesn't matter. What matters is if our plan for how to buy and sell crypto is making us money or not. I see so many people brag and celebrate their predictions, and I'm like, who gives a crap? Are you making money or not? Because if not, being right, yeah, feels good. Here in market psychology, we want to try to leave our ego at the door and learn from our mistakes, play the risks as smart as we can, because I know a lot of you guys work very hard And if you're investing, I don't want to steer any of you in the wrong direction or make mistakes like I've made before. In 2017, I still made money, but I made some mistakes. We all have in our investment journey. However, Bitcoin dominance, let's take a look at the daily. So you can see it's kind of stuck at this 57, 58 line. Zooming out, I'm looking for this 61, 62% line to possibly get hit, just because there seems to be a lot happening with these peaks and dips from prior cycles. And that's what the peak of dominance did before. When we're looking at the 2021 cycle prior to that, you can see it got as high as 73. And I was thinking, was there any indication to show 73? Well, we had these 2 points back here. And dominance has been going down. And so, considering some of the same factors and where it started to really tank, I'm like, well, we have this area right here, and it seems the chart lines up with it quite a bit. So that's why I am eyeing 62% as a possible top. Ooh, we got some more comments. The All-Father's Son, welcome. With Wolf saying 36,000 costs per Bitcoin, and they are one of the lowest energy costs on top of across the board dilution, do you think some M&A is coming? All the dilution makes me think buy-in is close to half these prices. Let me chew on that for a little bit. So, for any of you guys that don't know, part of the reason I founded this channel, Market Psychology, I've been doing work in the field of psychology for many years. And I am more of a processor. And sometimes when someone says something as thought-provoking as the All-Father's Son, I don't want to give an answer just to give one. That's one I want to chew on a little bit. I want to process that. I want to process that while we go to Wolf. It's okay not to have answers right away. Too many, man, in my field, and I'm sure in your guys' work-related fields too, there's too many people wanting to be right and be experts, and it's okay to say, I don't know, or wait to give an answer. I'd rather say, I don't know, than give an answer and say something wrong or stupid. Well, let's just take a look at TeraWolf, and I'll get back to you on that. TeraWolf, as far as miners go, not correcting as big. No? It's going on the daily. I mean, all the other ones are having pretty big corrections. Now, I know if I go from back here, that's 21%. So maybe some of it was priced in. But just this recent doji candle, 15%. Not as big of a correction as Marathon and Riot and CleanSpark, some of the other ones. Sorry, gotta hydrate. So buy-in being close to half these prices. Let's consider that, All-Father's Son. We'd be looking at something like $1.80. Where is $1.80? Okay. Yeah, let's just take your argument there for a second. Close to half these prices. There is price action here. We have the trend line. So if we believe that, at least for Riot, or I'm sorry, for TeraWolf, then maybe this trend line around that area could be a bounce. I could see that at the very worst. Let me read your comment again. Do I think some M&A is coming? I want to lean yes to your answer. Wolf is running on AI HPC, I think, but even so, they have no contracts yet. Yeah, that's important. And I love that you've done your research. I love that you've done your research on Wolf. By the way, have we looked at, and maybe we have, but I haven't visited in a while, have we looked at Wolf's balance sheet? I'll say this, though. Well, a couple things. One reason I really like Bitcoin miners is there's so many of them, or so few of them. They remind me the most of the 2017 alts, and we can see much more details as far as these because they're actual stocks, they're actual companies. Many cryptos are just they promise you the moon and they do jack squat. And with my time in the market since 2017, I've seen probably like 95 plus percent of crypto projects die that had amazing promising things in their white paper or what they were going to be, all this crap. With the miners, I feel there's at least some assurance. Let's take a look. So it's good that there's a contract. Before I get to the balance sheet, I will say this. Be that as it may with projects turning out dead, I cannot tell you how many times I've seen dead projects, dead crypto projects, especially altcoins, rip up for no reason. And I think part of the reason that is, this is my theory, I haven't verified this, but when you think of where does all this large money come from that flows into the crypto market during euphoric, highly speculative times, I think people are putting their money where others aren't, and they're trying to suck in retail. There have been so many dead crypto projects that all of a sudden rip up and do a 20x. So I like your thinking, and yet I will say, even if they don't get contracts, it's not the end of the world. There, if we get another cycle top, there will still be money probably flowing in. Let's take a look at the balance sheet. Are we on the balance sheet? Yes, we are. Are we? We are almost there. I was getting ahead of myself. All right, total current assets, 65 mil. Kind of a weird up and down trend there. Total assets, 380, nice uptrend. 380 and 60. Liabilities. Liabilities are 2.5 to 1, practically. That's not good. Total liabilities, 155. So at least this is over 2 to 1. But yeah, I like how All Father Son's doing his research. Also heard they are losing talent in Pennsylvania. That's their nuke power, where their average energy cost is low. Yeah. Yeah, that would be definitely bearish news. Though, I will remind you, the All Father Son, last time I saw a lot of bearish news coming out on Bitcoin miners was here, I believe. Yeah, you see January 24th at the bottom. It was ETF time. When Bitcoin ETF was approved and then Bitcoin corrected 20-ish percent, I remember seeing so much FUD in the news articles about every miner, it seemed, just bearish bad news. How because the halving was coming up, half the Bitcoin would be mined, so there would be half the profits. That was the overall news coming out back here. Bad news at the bottom. Kind of funny how that works. And then as it recovered, I remember it's somewhere around right here, a month later, they're like, well, yeah, it's half the Bitcoin being mined, but that's going to create a supply crunch and supply and demand. So it's kind of funny. I'd say just be careful with the news that you read and when it comes out. If bad news is coming out at the bottom, for me, again, market psychology, you want to kind of, if bad news is coming out at the bottom, for me, that makes me bullish. I'll never forget when I was a teenager hearing all the awful things about Amazon stock after the dot-com bubble burst. And my God, if people would have listened to these pundits about how Amazon stock was horrible, buy eBay stock, or yeah, I don't even know. But people are saying buy Amazon stock was bad at the time. And if you would have bought $1,000 worth of Amazon stock, you'd probably be a millionaire today. True that. I'm torn. I want to buy on fear, but the price action is black. Yes, the price action is blocking your trigger finger. Totally get it. A couple Couple things I do for these times. If overall the market is very bearish, again, I love this indicator. This is more of a lagging, confirming indicator, UT bot alerts. It's, in my opinion, better than the other one I use. In a bearish market, this buy-sell signal indicator, the 1020 MA, this one's a good leading indicator if the market's running hot. But this one, if you're waiting for confirmation, I mean, look right here. We have not had a buy signal on TeraWolf with this indicator yet. So that's something you could look for. What's the monthly at? The monthly still a buy signal, but man, not until recently. So I like the weekly time frame for this indicator. And if you're waiting for confirmation, that's one way. If you're a dollar cost averager like myself, I like to watch the stochastic RSI when it's flipping positive. It flipped positive, but you see that blue line headed down right now. I would wait for Bitcoin to possibly settle. But anytime the stochastic RSI is down here and flipping blue above orange, if it's something I like, I dollar cost average in. And look how many opportunities we've even had for that since the bottom. This is only the third opportunity. Now, there's these ones in the middle, but I'm not dollar cost averaging purely off the stochastic RSI. I'm just comparing different indicators or metrics, whether it be fibs, moving averages, stuff like that. So I will say it is interesting to me how TeraWolf has not seemed to have fallen as big yet. I would be watching this area right here. If this were me, I'm not giving you financial advice, but I'd be eyeing this 290 level as part of my budget. And if you believe 50% could come, then if TeraWolf gets down in the low $2 range and starts to go sideways, maybe form a nice base, then there you go. It's okay to be patient. And I actually like that you're wanting to be cautious and patient. That's a good thing. I think dollar cost averaging right now at this moment, it would increase the likelihood of possibly catching a falling knife. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, by the way. Rate cuts coming up this month. And the two main possibilities of what usually happens, you can see this is how volatile we usually get into rate cuts. Now, you see this 5, -5. On average, in a bullish post-rate cut scenario, there is a 10% correction in the S&P. Guess what? That's what happened. Now, again, this is on average, but this was that 10%, give or take, correction. You see right there, 9.5%. So we had this. And then there's even some more volatility. Are we going to get a little spike up around the week into rate cuts and then another little sell-off, possibly a higher low? The thing I'm watching for the most is how many basis points. And the data, going back quite a ways, says if it's 50 basis points, get ready for some pain sooner than later. If it's 25 basis points, then at least you bought yourself a little time. This is 1998. I continue to lean towards the 1998 style scenario. .com bubble, AI bubble. I feel that I'm not seeing the same economic pain as there was right before the 2008 GFC. I could be wrong. I don't know. But I am leaning towards 25 basis points. And if it is, I'm going to be bullish. And I know that sounds crazy right now. But again, just going off historical data. So if it is 25 basis points, then we're not going to want to miss the dips that are going on right here. Again, wait for confirmation. Covered fear and greed for any of the new viewers here. We're talking about how we are in extreme fear. Let's take a peek at the dominance. What's happening with dominance right now? It went down a little bit. So is Bitcoin. Overall, I'd say on the weekly, it's still going up. Bitcoin price has been going down, so I feel we're here. That's what the weekly shows. Alt season, this kind of surprised me. Alt season index still up. Now I'm wondering when I refresh this tomorrow if it's going to be down here. Just wanted to take a quick look at this. And subscribe if you like the rainbow chart analysis. And I don't purely base my predictions off this rainbow chart. However, if Bitcoin price is to get up here in these orange to red zones, I am seriously considering selling. And that so rarely happens. We are nowhere near there yet. We are in the lower zones. So overall, if you have a good dollar cost averaging plan or a way to budget and buy at lower prices, this would say we're at the upper end of lower prices overall if you believe in the crypto cycle. I've been in these times here and here, the face melting times. I will tell you, this is very much reminding me of the post 2019 difficult times, and this was not fun for people. And in my opinion, if this is like 2019, further downside is coming. I would not be surprised if Bitcoin gets down to, ooh, would you look at that, by the way? Let's look at this, guys. Do you see that third teal box from the bottom? I tried to put the date as close to the rate cuts as possible. Where does that third box from the bottom show price? 46 to 60K. Where is the 100-week moving average right now for Bitcoin? We're looking for the 100-week moving average. That's that light blue line. 46K, roughly speaking. So again, just like 2019, where we had price fall to the 100-week moving average, and yes, there was a COVID crash. If we get down here, I am looking for great deep value deals. We got 9 and 10 people watching. Welcome, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Bitcoin sucks today, and here at Market Psychology, we look for deals, opportunities when there's extreme fear. Of course, don't just buy falling knives, not financial advice, but have a plan. Right now, I have on this large macro fib. You can see fib retracement from the 2021 high, 22 low. I think that 786 area here at around 50K is likely. And if that breaks, I am looking at 45K. Let's look at tether dominance. We haven't talked about this yet. So tether dominance. Bitcoin dominance, for those of you who may not know, Bitcoin dominance right now, it's at 57%. That means 57% of all money in crypto is in Bitcoin. When that dominance percent tanks, that tends to be very good for altcoins and miners. Mike McCarthy, Coach Mike McCarthy of the Dallas Cowboys. Hello, sitting on my hands at the moment. That would not surprise me. Hope you're doing well, Coach Mike McCarthy. He did bring a Super Bowl at Green Bay, but probably not going to happen for the Cowboys. Sorry to hear that. Not really. Hate the Cowboys. Anyways, tether dominance line. When the tether dominance, and by the way, tether is a stable coin, so it has a value around $1. If increasing volatilities hitting the market to the downside and you want to retain how much money you have, Satoshi value, you convert your cryptos to tether and it doesn't decrease in price. And when tether dominance increases, it usually goes or is correlated with the downside in the market. You will see that when it hits this trend line, those are local tops. 2017 top, 2019 mid-cycle top. I'm calling this pre-having peak the mid-cycle top for this cycle. The peak before the COVID dump, First Bitcoin top, second Bitcoin top. Let me show you this real quick. So tether dominance was hitting those areas here. 2017 peak, 2019 mid-cycle top. That COVID top, that was right here. Interesting how tether dominance hit it. And interesting how we talked about Bitcoin hitting that 100-week moving average right before. Was Bitcoin getting ready to possibly take off before COVID? Who knows? Maybe that was going to be a fake out anyways, with or without COVID. The two peaks here and the March peak there. But if we were to just look at tether dominance like it's an asset, like it's a crypto, you would say this looks bullish. Hell, let's throw on a buy-sell signal indicator. Yeah, this has been bullish ever since down here. And when we had that big 30% correction, tether dominance spiked up to the 0.5 on this fib. And I did draw another macro fib high to low. It looks like it wants to go back up to that 0.5. Possibly even higher. So tether dominance not looking bearish right now at all. Looks like it wants to continue higher. Oh, Mike, I get that once in a while. Not related. Happy to hear it. Thank you for joining the live stream, though. Welcome. So tether dominance looking bullish. Bitcoin dominance looking bullish, though albeit kind of extended. Of course, the market's going to be bearish. Let's throw on a different indicator. Let's do this for a minute. Let's throw on the RSI. Let's see if we can find some divergence. That's relative strength index. Let's see if we can find some divergence going on. Now, on the weekly, at least from the peak, you guys see this? You see us trending lower? So right now, the strength index is trending lower. Now, of course, this could break higher, but each peak is, you can see it's going higher. That is what's called bearish divergence. However, it's important to know divergence can take a while to play out. All because we recognize divergence does not mean it has to play out next week or next month. But something to keep in mind. Let's go over to Bitcoin. Woo. That RSI, as you can see here, guys, when it gets under 50 on the weekly, tends to be good dips in the market. And right now it is under 50. That is looking bearish as heck, and it's creating a new low since the top on the RSI. Let's go back to 2019. What was it doing in 2019? Anything similar? Yeah, you could argue that. Got as low as 40. So it made a little peak there. Let's turn on our EMA. Let's see if there's any correlation. Here's where it hit the 100-week moving average that I keep watching for. And when it hit that, that was the local bottom. Until, of course, the COVID crash. So could that happen again? If we are in a 2019 style scenario, where would 40 be? Down here, not far away. I would gather or assume that the strength, if we did hit the 100-week moving average, that the RSI would be lower than 40. I don't think that's a question. So that would be something to watch for. Let's take a look at the daily. Daily, ooh, you guys see that? Look at where the RSI is. Look at where the price is. RSI dipped here, lower end dipped there, but the price is lower. If RSI only bottoms out here on the daily and the price, well, in either way, I would say it's bullish for the medium term. If the lower end of the daily RSI is trending up and the price is trending up, at least from the bottoms, then you could say, okay, maybe we're forming a base. If the RSI goes lower and the price still stays, if the RSI stays here and the price still stays there, or goes lower, God, I'm fumbling my words here. If the price goes lower and the RSI is able to stay higher, that would be bullish divergence. Too soon to call that. I eventually found my way there. Let me hydrate here for a second. If any of you guys watching right now would like for some quick analysis on any cryptos or mining stocks, heck, even stocks, type them below. I think we'll be getting near the end of the live stream here shortly. Let's take a look at the VIX quick. I'll wait for your comments while I look for some other things. VIX having another little spike up. When the VIX is above 30, 35 tends to be a good area to find value. Yield curve inversion. Let's take off this right here. Yield curve. Ooh, look at that big doji candle. My God. Yield curve looks like it may be getting ready to uninvert. So if there is a 50 basis point cut, if there is a lot of hidden pain in the market that the Fed knows about, or the economy that we don't know about, then maybe we do see a 50 basis points. So yield curve, the 10 year minus 2 years, an important one to watch. Usually within a year-ish of uninverting, there's recessions. But we want to see it steadily going up if there is to be a recession. Not that I want to see a recession, obviously. Puts people in a lot of pain. Ooh, unemployment. This is a change. What's going on with this? Unemployment still trending up, but had a little dip down. So we're not going to say the economy is fixed just from here. This is still overall an uptrend, but unemployment wasn't up in the 4.5%. It did come down just 1/10 of a point. So there you go for unemployment. Let's take a look at Ethereum. We haven't touched that. Not seeing any comments for altcoins. So that's fine. If you guys don't want me to look at any for you, that's okay. But if you do, comment below. As far as Ethereum, we have this trend line, these higher lows. And look, it came right to it. I like Ethereum between this 0.5 line to this price action that it's at right now. Between 2200 and 2067, I think this is decent value for Ethereum. I would not be surprised to see it settle here and even go down to the 0.5 fib. I've seen this happen a lot with the larger assets, that they get down to the 0.5. Let's measure this out overall. So from Ethereum's peak of 4100, I mean, just today, that's a 47% overall correction. I'm a little new to charting. We have Mike McCarthy here, but I believe I found a bullish Gartley on the Sol Bitcoin one-day chart. It's kind of rough, but a second opinion would be nice. A bullish Gartley. You'll have to forgive my ignorance. I'm not sure what a Gartley is, but Sol Bitcoin. Let's zoom out here for a second. Sol Bitcoin. Yeah. You can see right here. Man, it looks like it's just possibly wanting to get down to that 50-week harmonic pattern. Okay. Mike, I'll be honest, I'm not even familiar with that. That's not part of my technical analysis personally. But if it's something that you like, then hey, I'm happy for you. And guys, I will admit if there's something that is out of my range or area of expertise, I'm okay in doing that. I'm not going to be one of those crypto YouTube people that wants to claim to know everything. So as far as harmonic patterns and stuff, a little out of my pay grade. But I try to, and this goes for, this has been something, by the way, that like I felt has worked for me and others I know. Whatever indicators you use as far as your investment strategy, it's better. I find this in all facets of life. It's better to be really good at fewer things than know a bunch of them. And so you might know 20, 30 different indicators and ways of looking at charts. I'd rather be really good at 5 or 3. So moving averages, fib, trend lines, RSI, that's kind of my wheelhouse. Mike, let's take a look at Solana, though. I don't want you to leave here empty-handed. Let's take a look at Solana. The thing, yeah, we were talking about this, I believe, last time I did a live stream. The thing with Solana right now is it is at that 786, and that has to hold. And the 50-week moving average. I would not be shocked to see Solana get to 100. You can see that's where we have some price action and the 100-week moving average. Solana at 100 would not shock me. I do like Solana overall as the top altcoin outside of Ethereum this next cycle. I need to find the chart, but it shows basically like a pie graph, and it shows trends over time. And this cycle, Solana has been, its piece of the pie has been growing the most as far as altcoins. And it reminds me a lot of Doge in 2021 or XRP in 2017. So Solana, this next cycle, should we get another big blow off top, if Bitcoin goes to 150K, that's my conservative prediction for next year. If we have another 4-year, give or take, 4-year cycle, I would not be shocked to see Solana possibly get to somewhere near 500 billion market cap. So I do think it is the top altcoin outside of Ethereum for this next bull run. Not XRP. I'm going to get a lot of... If any of you guys watch my XRP is not going to 10K video, you know how much the XRP people are not a fan of me. All because I said XRP will not be worth $500 trillion. Just completely. Can you believe people are that stupid? I mean, I can, but it's still... I'm trying to save people some money and talk some sense into them. And it's funny, Doge is right here. I hate to say this. And full disclosure, I have some Doge. I got some Doge at a cheaper price this cycle. Doge people are starting to remind me of the XRP people. And it's kind of funny. I feel XRP was the big altcoin of 2017. And now they have the XRP army cult where they believe market cap is a magical number that can be anything they wish and hope it could be. Doge people are starting to remind me of the XRP cult this time around. I don't think Elon saying Doge to the moon on SNL, though I doubt he'll be invited back, since some of the changes he's been showing over the last few years. I don't think Elon's going to have the pull and the sway to get Doge back to 100 billion market cap. It's my 2 cents. And I own some Doge, but I'm not feeling Doge is going to be as big. Doge, no, Doge is the GOAT. I'm sorry, chips and salsa. I do have Doge, but you know what? Like, I'm just saying this. I had a little XRP in 2020 as well, 2021, and people can cry lawsuits and all that stuff, and there's so much reminding me of the same feelings that I went through last cycle with XRP as this cycle with Doge. So I'm not married to Doge doing great, but I still have some. I got some XRP at the start of last cycle, not much, but about 1,000. I don't believe in it all, but holding it is a gamble. Haha. Yeah, hey, I'm not saying do not buy XRP. And as far as altcoins are concerned, I mean, it is one of the top market cap altcoins. And just looking at the chart, though, I hate how much it goes up and down. I made that XRP video somewhere around here. You could argue it's a deeper value. And if you bought XRP down here at 45 cents, I'd say, hey, good job. Not a bad buy. I have nothing against buying things at deep value. I'm just saying be realistic in your expectations. We talked about this with, I have to go to a different chart. It's XRP US dollar. How I saw this happen with a lot of 2017 altcoins. You see how I drew this fib retracement from the 2017 peak to low. XRP in 2021 only got up to the 786. And so the 786 in the most bullish scenario is my target for many of these coins. Bitcoin Cash did this too and only got up to the 786. So Doge is 786 is around 42 cents. Yeah, 41, 42 cents. That's an area where I, myself, not financial advice for you, I will be taking some profits and seeing, hey, is it really going to make a new all-time high? I hope so, because I have Doge. But if not, I am mentally, emotionally prepared for that because I saw Bitcoin Cash, XRP, and so many 2017 altcoins do that. Now, there were other altcoins that did not. Cardano was one that did not, went slightly higher. Sol is my big play this cycle. I have 18.73 average, been rough lately, but about to start buying some more soon. Yeah, good man. Now's the time to make a plan because, yes, I know it sucks. I know it sucks to see price going down. And if we repeat these cycles, it is worth it. It is worth going through these hard times. If you believe, this is why I go over the rainbow chart every week and how Bitcoin has these 4-ish, give or take, year cycles. Having been here, it is worth it. And I've been through the fear and the doubt and the scams, BitConnect, SBF, all that stuff. God, has crypto really grown? If people want to talk about utility, and the only places I've seen utility have been in third world countries and not good neighborhoods in the U.S. It's the only places I've seen crypto exchange machines. I mean, god dang, it's been out 15 years. I want to see more tangible utility. Anyways, off my soapbox here. But I've been through these times, guys. All the crazy crap, all the stupid, crazy psycho YouTube influencers. These guys just reek of scammers. And that was a big reason I made my channel. So many YouTube channels are just ridiculous. People saying they either make a name for themselves by being perma bearish or perma bullish and saying Bitcoin to 500K. I remember, 2017, 2018, there's a guy named John McAfee. I think he's dead, rest in peace, but he said something like, if Bitcoin doesn't get to 500K, I'm going to bite off my wee-wee on national TV. Like, I remember this. You can Google this headline, John McAfee, Bitcoin 500K, bite off. You can type in the rest. It is one of the funniest things I ever read. Yeah, but good luck, Mike. I think Sol is the safest altcoin play. Will it get you anything above a 10x? I wouldn't lean that far. However, say that out loud, a 10x. A 5x to a 10x within a couple of years, that'd be amazing. So next year, if we do get a 4-year cycle, I'm taking a look at that orange box somewhere in that 150K range. Let's go over to Bitcoin. Let's take the fib off the log scale. This is a good way to look for possible price predictions. Now, each cycle, Bitcoin does not, if you were to draw a fib from the high to the low for each cycle, as far as a way to try to predict or see the next price targets, each cycle it goes to a lower fib extension. That's what the rainbow chart shows, diminished returns, blah, blah, blah. This time around, I think the 2618 at around 155K is, I keep coming back to that because that's right in the orange band here. And as you can see, Bitcoin, well, actually, let's just take a look at this coincidental pattern. During the halving, the price goes up a color zone. We were talking about this right before it happened. I made my channel kind of around the ETF time, if not a little earlier. But the halving, the lows go up each time at each halving. 2013 top, it was above the rainbow chart. Here's in the top red color zone. Here it was in the second one. Here it was at the upper end of the third one. So I am eyeing right here for the next 4-year cycle. Those two orange boxes, 140 to 230K. Yeah, McAfee was quite the character. Okay, I'm glad somebody got that reference. Yes, he was. And if I ever need a good laugh, when I talk to people about crypto, I send them that and I say, be careful of the hype. People will tell you 500K Bitcoin. I will not be one of those people. Let's be realistic here. 150K, 210 Bitcoin is still great. Let's draw a fib. Actually, let's do this from the 2017 cycle. Let's draw a fib and see, does it hit any of those extensions? Sorry, there's a lot going on here. Make sure it's off log scale. I believe it is. Good. So Bitcoin got right to really the upper two areas of that fib. It got right between the 3618. Oh yeah, and the 4236. Didn't get quite to the 4236, but right in there. And I could go back, draw the other ones where it was even higher. The point being, I don't believe Bitcoin's getting to the 3618. Now, if it got between the 2618 and the 3618, sure. But I'm eyeing between the 1618 and the 2618. Let's remove this. It's too much for my brain, and I'm sure your guys as well. Where is the 1618? That's 100K. The 2618, 150K. That is why, just by the pattern of the way Bitcoin goes, I'm eyeing this. Now, if things get mega ultra bullish, I don't believe we're going to be in this range again like 2021's price action did compared to that macro fib from 2017. I don't believe we're getting above 210K. I could see something in here. Maybe Bitcoin gets to 180K or something. As you guys saw with that last fib, Bitcoin got kind of in between. But this 155K is my base. And anything above, I am seriously considering taking profits. It's just crazy to think about. I mean, we're talking about this right now, and even part of me doesn't believe that Bitcoin will get there. But having lived through 2017 and 2021, I'll tell you, I fully believe that that will happen again. At least I'm putting money where my mouth is. I believe there will be another cycle, that it won't be as euphoric as so many people are calling for. Kathy Wood, all these characters calling for 300 to 500K Bitcoin. I've seen people calling for 1 million Bitcoin. Robert Kiyosaki. That guy's a character, by the way. Kiyosaki, he owns so much gold and silver and has stake in these gold and silver producers, and he's always shilling gold and silver because he makes money off people. And so something Kiyosaki does, and yes, he does say a lot of smart things, but I have an ear for scammers, and it's part of the work I do in my field of psychology. I have an eye for bullshit. When you've talked to enough psychopaths, you get an ear and an eye for it. You have to think, why is the person saying this and how is it benefiting them? That is sadly how a lot of people operate. especially in the world of money and finance. And you take a look at the why Kiyosaki and some of these guys are saying things, it's a benefit themselves. And so when people are saying XRP to 10K, they know if they suck in enough retail, aka exit liquidity, they want you to be left holding bags while they take profits at more realistic prices. That is part of the reason I made this channel. There's too much BS out there and people making unrealistic predictions, and in my opinion, purposely trying to scam people. I'm like, hey, let's just have an honest conversation. Yeah, Mr. Rich Dad owns the gold mines. Mike McCarthy knows what's up. Man, I'm glad you are a viewer on this channel, and I hope a subscriber. But yeah, he knows what's up. So you just got to take a look at it through that lens sometimes. And again, that's why we talk about fear and greed all the time. I'm in a couple crypto discords, and I try to feel what is the sentiment. And whenever the sentiment is really bad, I am thinking, okay, when's the next time I can jump in and buy? And when the sentiment was great, like it was back here in March, I was very cautious because I was like, well, things are feeling too good right now. And people are talking about a top in June. I think I even started to drink some of the Kool-Aid, like, is there going to be an early top? It was feeling like it was possible that maybe Bitcoin could go to 100K if the top was going to be earlier. Never happened. Now I am pretty much fully convinced that this was just a mid-cycle top. So, anyways, we've talked about a lot, guys. Let's just take a look at maybe a couple altcoins. Link, there's one. I like Link overall. I think it's done pretty good. Link is one of my favorite altcoins. I might set a buy order somewhere around here. If it hits, cool. If not, wait for a buy signal. Fetch, man, remember, Fetch cracks me up. It has AI in the name, so of course, by the mid-cycle, it just exploded. It was down here at around 8-9 cents and got up to almost $4, $3.50. So it did a 35x. I had some Fetch down here. I had to take some profits in here, sadly, but part of me taking profits here, I had one of my pets needed some money for surgery. So I was like, I'm going to take some crypto profits here. I think this is a local top. Still held on to some, but Fetch. If Fetch gets down to 60 cents around there, I might take a look at buying in. Jasmy. This was an altcoin that surprisingly to me was holding up decently well. Might Jasmy be getting ready to go way down? This is, gosh, I try to look for altcoins that might be like a 10, 20x. Jasmy, Fetch, some of those, I got my eye on them. I'm wondering if they'll be some of those 20x altcoins. I don't know. Do know it's a gamble. I have no idea which ones are going to do great or not, but what I do remember from 2017 and 2021 is that the good altcoins did have a good amount of positive movement before that happened. They weren't just completely dead and falling. So that would be one I look for. Now look at some of these top stocks. Nvidia. Yeah, we'll take a quick look. Nvidia, I'm sure people were thinking there was going to be a bounce here at 110 and then it just went down further. It's got the 200-day moving average coming up to this 618. I could see Nvidia getting down to 96 possibly. All right, I think we're going to call the live stream here unless anyone else has a comment or a question. Appreciate you all joining me today. I'm going to be watching the Packers versus Eagles coming up here shortly. Rooting for the Packers. Go Pack Go. I think they have a pretty good team. But yeah, we got football starting. How about that Ravens Chiefs game yesterday? Lost by a half of a toe. That was crazy. But yeah, Bitcoin. We'll see if this is a higher low. Right now on the weekly, just quick summarization. Usually we get more than one candle. Now the last few times it hit the lower end of the channel, the last 3 times, the next candle was a higher low, higher low, higher low. Are you going to get another higher low? This does look to be rolling over a little bit. And as far as this chart pattern goes, I've seen this with stocks before, and forgive me for not remembering the names of them. I want to say it was possibly some cannabis stocks where they'll be up here for a while and then come back down to where there's some price action. That's why I'm really eyeing this. Well, let's fix the fib. But that's why I'm eyeing that 46K level and that price action back here. It would just, to me, make sense as far as this euphoric move, come back down to the reality, maybe get down here for max pain. If Bitcoin touches anywhere in the 30K region, people are going to be freaking out. That would be max fear, and I would be backing up the truck, buying in hard if that happens. I'm not saying it's going to, but man, I feel like this 100-week moving average is turning into a magnet, and that we could see something here. But if this happens, yeah, I could see it. You got to think of it this way. What would be the move to completely get all the retail out of crypto? It might be something down to the 200-week moving average or the 618 at around 39K. And not saying that's going to happen, but in 2019, it went to the 100-week moving average, and you got to ask yourself, with or without COVID, would it have gotten down to here? I don't know. Maybe it would have just been here, but I remember this, and as someone who is in crypto, people are, for good reason, thinking, oh my God, Bitcoin's done. It's under 4,000. And it's kind of funny. We've gone up by a factor of 10. Look at this. It's 38K. We're talking about Bitcoin going, or 3,800. And we're talking about Bitcoin going to 38K. Wouldn't that be funny if something very similar happened? Again, I'm not saying it will. To me, this is the bottom area I keep waiting for. But I'll close with this. I have a plan. I don't care where the bottom is. I have a dollar cost averaging plan, a budgeting plan, where I am buying in regardless with good indicator and price action confirmation. I don't have to buy the absolute low. I can buy some of the lows and dips on the way. And I talk about that in many of my other videos. Subscribe if you want to hear more about that. So do know, predictions as far as where the bottom goes does not matter. But if I can get a good chunk out of that area and dollar cost average in, have a plan, which I do, and I encourage you guys to make a plan, I'll be happy regardless by the time crypto has a next cycle top. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate all you coming by. Hope you all are doing well. There's fear in the markets. Extreme fear. Brought to you by Temu. So look for opportunities when there's fear. Be greedy when others are fearful, as Warren Buffett likes to say. Thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful Friday and a great weekend. Take care.